So I'm in the store today. It's a store, convenience, that I stop off at fairly regularly. It's my store, you know. And so I know a lot of the people that work there and see a lot of the same people come through. And so I'm at the checkout and the guy's talking to me and this other fellow starts coming up. Well, first, this woman comes in. Of course, you see people in their masks everywhere you turn around. This woman comes in with a mask on and she had scrubs on. So I assume she worked in the medical profession. I suppose she could be dental hygienist or even a work at a pet hospital or something to that effect. But at any rate, she came in with her mask on. She got her items. She put them on the counter. And I'm talking to the guys checking me out, and this other person's checking her out. So she puts her stuff on the counter, right? The guy grabs them, he's scanning them and everything, lining them back to her. Well, another guy that works there is coming up the aisle, and he's coming towards the checkout counter. And he's like, "Hey, Tom." My name's not Tom, but he calls me, "Hey," by your name, because we know each other. And I said, "Hey, right back to you," and as he comes by, I stick my fist out, and we bump fists. He goes on about, his business. And the woman looks up, and she's like, of course, I can't see her face, I can't see her mouth or her nose, but I can see her eyes, and she's got disgust, and you can hear it in her voice. She's like, "You really aren't supposed to be doing that." And I didn't say anything to her. I just looked at the guy checking me out, again, who I knew. He kind of looks at me, and meanwhile, I look back at this woman, and like I say, she's put her items on the counter. The person's with her bare hands. The person checking her out grabs them with the bare hands and scans them and all, and then she hands him the credit card. And he takes the credit card, and he swipes the credit card, and he hands it back to her, and then he slides the keypad over in front of her that everybody's been pushing on for their PIN. She pushes and everything. And so the guy checking me out asks loud enough for her to hear. He says, he's asking me, he says, "So when do you think," he said, "So what do you think people are going to do, when all this starts to die down?" Which, of course, that's assuming it's going to die down. He said, "You think people are still going to behave that way?" And the woman looks up and she goes, "They should. We should be doing this all along." Now think about this. And I didn't say anything to her, but I'm sitting there thinking, you think it's a problem for me to bump fists with this guy, and yet you and this other guy you're checking out with are touching the same items back and forth, and you're putting your fingers on the keypad, and all that. I mean, what happened to the fact that for, umpteen decades prior to all of this, we gathered around and ate birthday cake that some kid blew on, to blow candles out, or, here, try this drink out, it's delicious, or, ooh, here, have a bite of my mashed potatoes, they're delicious, or whatever the case may be, you're touching the grocery carts that everybody else is touching. I know right now many of them are wiping them down and spraying them and all that, but what about before all this? Yes, some might say, well, we didn't have COVID-19 before all this. Well, no, we didn't. But we've had lots of other things that are far more dangerous, or have been far more deadly, I'll say. The more that I see what's going on, the more I see how people blindly just jump in line. If the government says, here's what we're going to do, everybody's going to put a mask on. You're going to stay 6 feet apart. We're only allowing X number of people in the stores at any given time. Meanwhile, there's all this stuff that you can do that goes against that. Like I say, she's wearing a mask and getting on to me about fist bumping, but she's, her and this guy checking her out are touching the same items back and forth, and the credit card, and the keypad. I mean, people are not using their brains. People are not thinking. Why aren't enough people thinking? And thinking beyond just the absurdities that I've pointed out in this scenario. But about why? Why is this the prescribed path Or why is this prescribed path the one that is supposed to be good for us? The one that is supposed to help us in this crisis situation, in this pandemic situation. Yes, I said pandemic. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. This is not going to change. These things that we're doing now, these precautions and steps that we're taking and all that stuff, it's not going to change. We're not going to ever go back to the way of life in which we live. And I believe that's on purpose. That was the plan all along. Or at the very least, it has been. They're taking advantage of the situation. They're taking advantage of saying, okay, here's a crisis opportunity. Let's not let it go to waste. We're being conditioned. We're being trained. We're being pushed to see how far we will go and to see what we will do, what we will take, what we will accept as the new normal, what we will put up with, what rights we'll give up, and for how long. Well, buddy, let me tell you, it will be for the rest of your life and mine, and your kids. Because once a right is stripped, once we give it up, and it's little things, it's all the little steps. Once we give them up, we give them an inch, they never give that inch back. You hear they give them an inch and they take a mile. Yeah, that happens too. But you never get that inch back. You know, you never get that mile back. And I've used the analogy before, it's like a frog slowly coming to a boil in a pot. He doesn't realize it. You know, if you just drop him right into a boiling pot of water, he's going to try like hell to jump out. But we're just getting boiled around here. It's coming to a boil. And at some point, it's going to boil over. The food's about to be gone. The meat's about to be gone. But I don't know. I could go on with different scenarios that I have played in my head about how this is going to go. You know, there are people who you wouldn't expect that are making plans and doing things in response to this thing for themselves and their families. These are people in law enforcement. These are people in military. These are politicians. These are scientists. These are smart people, some of them, that are doing things that the majority of us are not, and are not even considering. Things that make you go, And meanwhile, there's people that are running around like there is no problem, you know. The problem is not the sickness per se. The problem is a sickness, but it is not the one that we're being told it is.